Hello everyone, welcome back to Uwoma Iro TV. I want to start today with a question that might make you uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Now, why is it that when a married man cheats, especially when his wife is a public figure and influencer doing well for herself, the first place people run to is a comment section, not our comment section. And what do they say? Your husband was caught with a small girl. Are you blind? You are here busy posting online while your husband is embarrassing you. Face your home. It is because of you your husband went out to start cheating. All sort of nasty things will be said about this woman. Now, why does the woman become the center of shame for a mistake she didn't commit? Now, I want you to relax, sit back, and let us discuss fully about this. Now, this is for every woman who has been cheated on, every woman who has been publicly embarrassed, every woman who feels like she's losing herself because a man's bad decision, is not supposed to be put in the face of a woman that it's because of you, your husband did this. So welcome to Uwoma Iro TV. If this is your first time on our channel, please click on the subscribe button. Do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to share. Please stay tuned. So if you have been following what's trending online, you know that there is an influencer woman that, the husband was caught, cheating and all of that. And a lot of people are saying so much about the situation. Some are hailing her, calling her a queen for standing on business and ignoring the noise. So I'd like to also share another real life story that probably a lot of us can relate to. Now, there was a woman, let us call her Ada. Ada was everything people admired. She was beautiful, she was confident, hardworking. She built her brand from scratch. She had thousands of followers, collaborations, a growing business to the outside world, and a perfect marriage. Now, her husband was always in the background of her, content, not too visible, but present enough for people to say, oh, she's lucky, she's the lucky one, she backed a good man. Then one day, everything changed. A video started circulating online. Her husband in a hotel with a much younger girl. It spread fast. Blogs picked it up. People started talking, screenshots, voice notes, speculations, and then, as expected, people rushed to her comment section, but not the man's comment section. They flooded Ada's comment section. Your husband is with a small girl. See what your husband is doing while you are forming boss over here. You're busy chasing clouds. Your home is falling apart. Imagine that. Now, imagine waking up, opening your phone, and your entire life is being discussed like a TV show. What would you do? Not only are you dealing with betrayal, you're also dealing with public humiliation. Ada didn't post for days. When she finally came back online, it wasn't with makeup tutorials or brand deals. It was silent. When I say silent, because what do you even say? What do you say? Do you defend your husband? Do you deny it? Do you cry online? Do you pretend everything is fine? Now, this is where many women lose themselves, because the pressure is not just emotional, it is social. People expect you to react. People expect you to explain. People expect you to, carry the shame as if it is your shame. But here is the truth. A man cheating is not a reflection of who the woman is or what her worth is. Let me say that again. A man's cheating is not a reflection of the woman's worth. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are. It doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter how, supportive, loving, or loyal you have been. Someone else's lack of discipline is not your failure. But society doesn't always see it that way. Instead, they ask, what did she do wrong? Why couldn't she keep her man? Is she not enough? And slowly, if you're not careful, you start asking yourself the same question as if you are the problem. That's where the real damage begins. Because now it is no longer just about what he did. It's about how you see yourself. Ada went through that phase. She questioned everything. Her looks, her value, her marriage, her purpose. But one day something shifted. She realized that while the world was focused on her marriage, while the world was focused on her husband's actions, she was the one losing herself, not even the husband. She was the one shrinking, she was the one going silent, she was the one carrying pain that didn't belong to her. And that's when she made a decision, not in a loud, dramatic way, not for social media, but internally. somebody say internally, you know, she started focusing on her healing. She went to therapy. She surrounded herself with people who genuinely cared. You know, she took a step back from the noise. She stopped reading comments, and slowly she started rebuilding. Very important, rebuilding, you know, not her marriage but herself, because here in life, lesson is all that matters. When a man cheats, you have two battles. Now, the external one, what people are saying, what the world is watching, and the internal one, how you feel about yourself. The external battle is loud but temporary. Now, the internal one is quiet, but it can last a lifetime if you don't address it. That is why focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is survival. Now, let's address something honestly. Focusing on yourself does not automatically mean leaving your marriage. Now, and it also does not mean, you know, you stay in it if you don't want to stay in it. It means making a decision from a place of clarity, not pressure. If you chose to stay, it should be because there is accountability, change, and respect. If you chose to leave, it should be because you value your peace and your dignity. But either way, the decision should be yours, not the internet, not your friends, not your family, yours. Because people will talk today and move on tomorrow, because you are the one who has to live with the outcome of any and every situation. Another important thing, stop carrying public shame for private pain. Not everything deserves an online explanation. You don't owe the world, you know, a breakdown of your marriage. You don't owe strangers access to your healing process. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is protection. Let people think whatever they want to think. Your life is not a comment section. Get that straight. Your life is not a comment section. And to the women listening to this, especially those who feel embarrassed, broken, or lost, you're not defined by what someone did to you. You're not less because someone couldn't value you. You're not replaceable because someone chose temporary pleasure over commitment. You're still whole, but you have to choose to say that, because if you don't, the world will keep projecting its own narrative onto you. Let me bring this back to the beginning. Why do people rush to women's speech, especially influencers? Because society is conditioned to hold women responsible for men's action. It is unfair, but it is real. And the only way to break that cycle is to stop internalizing it. Let them talk, let them assume, let them speculate, but don't let it define you. Focus on your growth, healing, and your peace, because at the end of the day, the goal is not to prove anything to the world. Nobody. The goal is not to lose yourself. If Ada had spent, you know, all her time trying to respond to everyone, trying to fix her image, trying to control the narrative, she would have remained stuck forever. Yes, but she didn't. She chose herself, and eventually people moved on. That's one thing about social media. People would eventually move on from your story, because they always do. But she stayed with herself, stronger, wiser, more grounded. That's the part nobody talks about. Now, the world watches a scandal, but they don't watch the healing. Get that straight. The world watches the scandal, but not the healing. And healing is where the real story is. So if you're going through something like this, take your time. Feel your emotions, process your pain, but don't abandon yourself in the process, because no matter what happens in your relationship, you still have a life to live, and you deserve to live it fully, your own terms. Thank you for spending time with me on Uoma Iro TV. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. If this is your first time, thanks for staying tuned and watching from the beginning till the end. Till I come your way next time. Love you loads. Bye for now.